Hello my friends, welcome to my channel, my video. What does happiness depend on? What I've realized, happiness does not depend on any person, any career, any need to be answered, I guess you could say. Not being anything. Happiness doesn't depend on any kind of circumstances. I really realize that tapping into my own joy in every moment I can, and also allowing the kind of low moods helps my happiness, because a happiness is not a destination, it's a journey. And lightening up, not taking anything personal. You know, sometimes it feels like a fucking war zone sometimes in your head. It can feel like that. Even when you meditate, or when you just sit by yourself, or you feel like I should be doing this as my I should be doing this. The shoulds are happening. When the shoulds are happening, oh, they're gonna come. Oh, they're gonna come. I should be doing this, I should be doing that. And I realize that the chemistry in my brain is like really firing, because it wants some kind of attention, and the ego needs to be like really slapped in the face sometimes. And the only way I can do that is by being in the moment. And being in the moment, it doesn't have anything to do of any requirement of any kind of happiness, even if it's really dire. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's like when you realize that you have been subconsciously seeking for approval in so many different areas, with your relationship, with your friendship, with your colleagues, with whomever you come into contact, how you adapt a little bit the conversation to kind of find approval. This happens so subtly because we all learned it when we were little children. And when we were little children, I think it just happens. And we take it for granted because we've learned how that will just bring me joy. If I just fabricate a little bit of the lie of my existence and not tell them. You know, that's one of the reasons why I'm assuming that we would never talk about our weakness or be vulnerable, which is equated to weakness, because you're supposed to keep this all to yourself so you can keep up the lie and project that you're all doing all good and all okay. And I just know by talking to a lot of people and having people DM me, direct message me, that we're all kind of in the same boat, you know, more or less. Some of us are woken up to it, some of us are not. And I don't know, like when you really face certain things, it's like I realize that nothing, no one can make me happy. So I don't desire anybody or anything. I don't desire that. And that's really hard for the ego, and really, you know, difficult and confronting. And it's a lot of people just say, you know, if we didn't have each other, and we don't. It's love isn't unconditional. Let me tell you, I do love people. Like, I realize more and more that I see the kind of charade. I kind of see the charade, because what I just talked about was like some kind of a little bit of approval. And when I'm listening to people, it's so subtle. Things can come in so subtly, like name dropping, or I know this, or I know that, or she came to my performance, or he came to my performance, and he praised me, she praised me. You know, or even the opposite, or like, you know, I'm really not good, and I'm down and everything, and that could be a truth. I'm not saying that none of it's true. And by the way, I'll just say it again and again, and I'll just tell you again and again and again. It's like, I know nothing. I certainly know nothing, but I certainly know that I can recognize that I have been manipulative in the past. And when I'm being that way, or when I'm thinking negative or something like that, my mood may be negative, but if my mind is thinking that it's labeling that negative, my mood may be down. I wouldn't say that it's negative, positive, because actually this dualism, these kind of labels just kind of fall away, and that's just really like loving to me. And I love myself so much, that I'm starting to recognize all these kind of things, and I ask myself again, what is freedom? What is freedom? And you uncover a lot of things, and you realize that what can I be? The serenity prayer. You know, the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Some things you cannot change. You cannot change people. You cannot change people. You cannot change circumstance. You cannot change. You cannot change, you know? God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things I can. Because what can you change? You can change your thoughts about thoughts. I wouldn't say that you can change your mood, but you can go into a different mood quicker by allowing it, and it dissipates its energy. It dissipates its energy, and then all of a sudden I can be clowny and fun and not take anything too serious. And I think it's one of the best things for me not to take anything too seriously. And that's with friendships or with anybody, and there are no requirements. And it's very disorienting sometimes at the moment, because my old school way, which is really, really strong with my mental activity, my mental constructs about things, you know, as profound as that sound, but it is, in a way, it can control me, and I can like be hijacked by that, and like all of a sudden I'm behaving in a certain way that I don't really find that is what I want, how I want to behave. But it's short, and I forgive myself for the times that I am hijacked by, and I just want to be rude, or if I'm snappy. I can have that with my boyfriend, but I certainly communicate that. It can happen, it depends on my mood or my day, or all kinds of things, and I can forgive myself. And forgiveness is a huge, huge thing too. So that's part of the journey of happiness, I guess. You know, forgiveness, forgive them for they know not what they do. Forgiving yourself for knowing not what you're doing sometimes, and then you can shine light on it, and it can change. That's what I can change. God said, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. You know, people I cannot change. I could change my job, but I do certainly know that wherever I go, there I am. I am there. Like, I am there wherever I go. And it doesn't matter what country, what city, what culture, there I am. And I recognize that there are energies around me that are, I assume, can be positive or negative. And what I've realized, like working in different cultures and working with different people, that there are cultural influences to people. Say the Chinese, the Australians, the Italians, the Mexicans, and then the French, and the French. The French are so different from the Italians. I can tell how they behave when they're in a room. That really suggests to me that we're all brainwashed in a certain way, because that becomes a norm in a culture, in a society, and that becomes part of that identity. You know, genders are, genders are in cultures, there are different customs of how you have to behave, and these codes of conduct and everything that arise. And I'm behind all that. I see all of that, and I really realize I don't like to follow any of those codes, and I don't like to be behaved, and I don't like to take anything too seriously. And if I'm around a lot of people that think it's too serious, or they want to create drama, I rather not engage with that. So I just realize that I can change. I can change the way I think about things, and certain things follow, and that's really, really beautiful. So I'm here sharing with you today, and I've realized that I haven't, I've realized that I have no need to share every day. Maybe that comes and goes, I don't really know, but I'm certainly going with the flow of my life, and it feels good for me to share when I share. And sometimes I'm just really, really quiet, and I'm really, in the last couple months, I've been traveling a lot, and a lot of things have come into my experience, and it's been overwhelming in a sense of and disorienting, because how I'm ticking right now is very different than I used to before, but I welcome all of that, and I'm more joyful than ever by being silent. And I know that that can be confusing to some people, and my old mind is coming in right now and just saying that I don't want to offend anybody. That's never my intention. And isn't it funny? It's like how we adapt ourselves not to offend and not to, you know, I mean, there's difference between purposely offending and not knowing you're offending somebody. But being yourself at all costs is something that I say, and that equates with the happiness, and that I'm certainly kind of realizing more and more and more, and not playing in certain kind of constructs of my mind that think that I had to have a certain way of being, or I had to have a certain job, or I had to be validated by certain people. All of that has changed, and that's disorienting because I don't find myself needing that. But my mind and ego can definitely tell me that I do need to be validated by. But in my all authentic power, I realize that that it all lies within me, and for me, and this journey and this incarnation is that I ask myself, what is freedom, and what is real, and what is love? And by knowing what those things are not, to me, are the pursuit of the happiness, or I'm more joyful. Thank you for watching me today, and I love you all so much. And by the way, another very, very liberating thing is really doing this Messy Mary Michaels thing. I love it so much. I'm like a kid, and I can definitely share with you this idea about being a kid. Should never or could never leave you. I'm not going to say for you, but being a kid for me is, I would say, 24/7. If I get, you know, I hold on to this guy, and to this playful guy, and I love playing with him. No pun intended, but I do that too. Anyway, that is very, very beautiful to me and my kid. And so, Messy Mary Michaels on Instagram, she's fun, and she's funny, and she's, I don't know, like, it's just, I love playing, and I love watching that, and I love the makeup and the stuff. Anyway, boy, have I passed all of that feeling of the need to be validated by any of that, because I'm not good at, I mean, like, listen, I can understand my labels of I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that. I'm just doing that, and there's no need to achieve. Excuse me, I have apple in my tooth. No need to achieve. But achievement happens when you are just playing, and wow, the color of life. I love you so much, and thank you for watching me. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Bye.